Everybody literally cooking up the idea that Aaron Rodgers is going to Pittsburgh.
My dream teammate would probably be Aaron Rodgers.
Who is the starting quarterback of the Steelers? Do you think it's Justin?
I don't know.
Aaron Rodgers' dream is coming true right now, and it looks like the New York Jets will not get the last laugh, and we'll be seeing another round of Aaron Rodgers' one last ride in 2025. Let's break this down. We often forget this viral moment in 2021 between the Green Bay Packers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin had some lovey eyes with one another. You got Mike Tomlin giving him a little nod here, Aaron Rodgers giving a wink and a nod. This went viral and was even talked about on the Pat McAfee show because Mike Tomlin called a timeout before Aaron Rodgers can catch the defense slipping, having 12 men on the field. But this was talked about a lot by Steelers fans, and they talked about Mike Tomlin tampering with Aaron Rodgers, biting his lip like a girl flirting with a starting quarterback. Uh-oh.
They had quite a little laugh, give and take. How you doing? Keep it moving. This follows Aaron Rodgers complimenting the city of Pittsburgh last week on this show, the nightly news, the morning news, everybody literally cooking up the idea that Aaron Rodgers is going to Pittsburgh. Now he and Tomlin are exchanging pleasantries on the field and off the field. AJ Hawk, best.
So Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers was already a big deal in 2021. And just this past year in 2024 in December, Aaron Rodgers spoke of Mike Tomlin glowingly.
First and foremost, you got to give Mike credit. He's got a special sauce to think about the way that he coaches. I'm just saying this from afar. I've been around him, talked to a lot of guys that played for him, and he seems to understand how to motivate his guys the best every single year. For him to not have a losing season is absolutely ridiculous.
In 2025, we've been wondering, are the Jets going to run it back with Aaron Rodgers? And this is no longer the case. The Jets sent a message on their own Twitter X account saying, we've informed Aaron Rodgers that we will be moving in a different direction at quarterback. So the Jets said this openly to the public, letting everybody know they're done with Aaron Rodgers. Thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Underdog, where you can win money on sports. Underdog is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. I especially love their pick'em game where you can pick your favorite players around the league and guess whether or not they'll have a higher or lower stat total this week for a chance to win big. You can win up to 1,000 times your money in one night. I especially like this for a game that I'm not emotionally invested in. I can just guess whether or not this guy will have this many yards, this many touchdowns, and sit back and watch my picks hit. Check out this map right here to see if Underdog is available in your state, like California, like Oregon, where I know a lot of you are from. And if you use my code WiFi, you can claim a free pick plus get up to $1,000 in bonus cash for first-time players. So visit UnderdogFantasy.com. Find the app in the Google or Apple store and use my code Wi-Fi when you sign up to claim your free pick and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash for first-time players. What are you waiting for? Go check out Underdog right now. There were tons of bizarre rumors surrounding the Aaron Rodgers Jets exit, like the Jets giving Rodgers an ultimatum saying that he can no longer go on the Pat McAfee show if he wants to be a New York Jet. This sort of made Rodgers look bad, as if he was choosing Pat McAfee over playing for the New York Jets. But according to NFL insider Ian Rappaport, this is all BS.
There was no ultimatums made to him. It wasn't like, and I know there was a report, it's like, well, you know, the Jets don't want Aaron Rodgers to do the Pat McAfee show, and if he agrees not to, then we'll bring him back. It wasn't like that. Like, first of all, I don't think the Jets really care that he's on the Pat McAfee show, honestly. It probably just affects the PR department. Doesn't really affect anyone else. It's New York. There are plenty of distractions.
Then you had another crazy rumor surrounding Rodgers' exit, where a New York Post article claimed that Rodgers begged the New York Jets to stay and begged them to play for one more year. Aaron Rodgers doesn't sound like a guy who begs at all whatsoever, but this is what the media was rolling with.
Story breaks that Aaron Rodgers, quote, begged the Jets to stay. Now, first of all, just think about this for a second. Someone is begging. How far has your career fallen that you are begging the Jets to stay? Not the Cowboys.
We've had so many media leaks surrounding Aaron Rodgers and the Jets the whole time he's been there, and I find it really crazy that there's still leaks coming out even when he's leaving, slandering his name, saying he's choosing the Pat McAfee show over playing for the Jets, saying that he's begging the Jets to stay when that does not sound like something that Aaron Rodgers would ever do. He seems like he's over 40 and doesn't give a shit anymore, honestly. And I think it all comes from Woody Johnson, the owner. I've seen this guy talking to the Athletic reporter Diane Diana Rossini, and I just think that Woody Johnson seems like a salty guy, and I would not be surprised, I'm not confirming this, I would not be surprised if he's the one spreading this BS about Rodgers surrounding the Jets. Maybe Rodgers has been a good guy this entire time. That is why many people in the media believe Aaron Rodgers is running it back for 2025 and that several teams want his services.
Rodgers going to play in 2024. I think he is. That's just my informed opinion on this, would be that I think he is. And I'm not getting this from the horse's mouth or anything else. I'm just putting pieces together here. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have some opportunity if he decides to play in 2024. That's the bottom line.
So Aaron Rodgers wants to play in 2025. He must know that he has options, or else he would not be having it out there that he's meeting with the Jets, talking about playing, and that he's expressing interest in playing in 2025. And it seems like the Steelers may be the top destination, not only because of their relationship with Mike Tomlin, but you already have the Steelers star wide receiver George Pickens talking about Aaron Rodgers in a very positive way.
My dream teammate probably be Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers or like Ed Reed or something like that. Ed Rodgers,
So-
Ed Reed, yeah.
I see that.
George Pickens is a player who's always pissed off. So if the Steelers could find a way to make this amazing wide receiver happy, then I think they'll try to do it. Although not every Pittsburgh Steelers player is stoked about the idea of Aaron Rodgers coming to the team. When the rumors were circulating that Aaron Rodgers could be joining the Steelers, you had Deshaun Elliott, the safety, who's on a 2-year contract, not a long-term deal, saying about Aaron Rodgers joining the Steelers, leave his ass at the retirement home. So Deshaun Elliott doesn't give a shit. He's letting everybody know that he wants a younger route at quarterback, but I think George Pickens, the offensive player, I think his opinion matters a little more than Deshaun Elliott. We always hear slander about Aaron Rodgers and his character, but the teammates on the New York Jets seem to love this guy. After it was announced that the New York Jets were not going to retain Aaron Rodgers, you had Quinnen Williams, the star D tackle, say another rebuild year for me, I guess, and a thumbs down emoji. And even prior to the decision being made on not to roll with Aaron Rodgers in 2025 for the New York Jets, you had Breece Hall, the running back, express admiration for Aaron Rodgers. Now, obviously, players like Devontae Adams, who are still technically under contract. So these guys like Aaron Rodgers. They respect Aaron Rodgers despite what the media says. The Steelers are obviously hungry for a quarterback right now. They even reached out to the Jacksonville Jaguars for Trevor Lawrence. This is a fact. Trevor Lawrence even had to respond to these calls, and he said it caught him off guard.
I have a no trade clause in my contract. I would know about it if I was getting traded, or if that was something that was going to happen. You know, I'd have to be on board with it. So, which I'm not. I'm happy here in Jacksonville. I plan on.
The reason why this Trevor Lawrence call is so important is because it shows that the Steelers are not content with Justin Fields or running it back with Russell Wilson. And Jay Glazer, an NFL insider who is good friends with Mike Tomlin, talks about how he has Mike Tomlin's number and texts the guy. He thinks that Fields and Russell Wilson, that's done.
Pete Carroll, I mean, this is kind of connecting dots.
That ain't gonna happen.
That one's over, right?
That's not gonna happen.
That one's over. Do you think it's more likely Russ goes back to the Steelers? Because the ending there was also a little weird too. So just a new start for Russ.
I think you'll see a new start for Russell somewhere else.
Yeah. Especially
Who is the starting quarterback of the Steelers? Do you think it's Justin, or do you think it's somebody?
I don't know.
So he's openly saying no Russ, no Fields in Pittsburgh in 2025. Like I said earlier, this is important because this guy knows Mike Tomlin, the head coach of the Steelers. He's got the dude's phone number.
The Senior Bowl. I was texting with Mike Tomlin the other day. He's the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, he's texting Tomlin. And now we've reached the point where even ESPN is saying that Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers looks like it's around the corner.
The little eye contact, the little back and forth between him and Mike Tomlin, and that just popped in my mind. What is that relationship really like? Have they had any interaction before? I'd be interested to see if Pittsburgh makes a play for A-Rod.
Like we mentioned earlier, Aaron Rodgers is set to have options, and you even have Adam Schefter on February 18th today saying that if the LA Rams do not get a deal done with Stafford, you could even see Rodgers with the Rams and Sean McVay.
Wouldn't get a deal done with Stafford if they decided to trade him. A lot of ifs involved. Then Aaron Rodgers, in my mind, would be thrilled with the idea of going to Los Angeles. And the Rams could probably get him at a lower cost than it would be for Matthew Stafford. They get draft pick compensation back for Stafford. So
we've also heard the other option that Aaron Rodgers might have, which I do not think is likely, which is the Minnesota Vikings. People just like the story that he can follow the Brett Favre career route where you go from the Packers to the Jets to then the Minnesota Vikings. But the Minnesota Vikings have their rookie quarterback, the quarterback on a rookie deal, JJ McCarthy. I don't see that happening at all. all, even though it'd be hilarious and the AI generated photos there are already funny enough. There is a big perk to signing Aaron Rodgers, even if you're not entirely sold on him as a quarterback. You get Davante Adams. I mean, Davante Adams forced his way out of the Raiders to join the New York Jets to win only like what, 5 games? They were 5-12 last year. Davante Adams is going to be released by the New York Jets. His contract is way too fat, and then he's free to sign with any team that Aaron Rodgers joins. Imagine the Pittsburgh Steelers with George Pickens, Aaron Rodgers, and Davante Adams. Imagine the Rams. We were just talking about the Rams. You downgrade a little bit at quarterback because I do think Matthew Stafford is better right now at this point in his career than Aaron Rodgers, but then you got Puka Nacua and Davante Adams. That would be absolutely elite. So I think despite the fact that the media is acting like Aaron Rodgers' career is over, he's done, he's washed, we all know he battled with injuries over these past 2 years, I think the league still really respects this guy, and he's going to have some serious options, and I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are at the top of the list in 2025.